Alright friends, I just got done with a little bit of alchemy, more of that disturbing gas, but no, it's fine. I figured out a way we could do this. So the other way was causing lag because it was abusing the player interface, but if I go ahead and put this here, and I go grab my Golemancer's bell, or rather, make it, and then I use this fill core. So I have a Great Wood Golem, and I have a fill core. What the fill core does is pretty much exactly what we were just using the pipe for. The difference being is that the golems are a little bit more intelligently coded, basically. So there, we put on that, we right-click this guy, and we say, from here, take things. But first, let's grab some cobble, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Let's just make some cobble, I guess, and some dirt. Let's tell him we're interested in these. He actually has a surprisingly good, really, setup here. So we could say, take any amount of cobblestone and of dirt and put that in there. And that should... Whoop, get that back, please. Now, that should, if we go ahead and right-click him and then right-click this, now he should be inclined to pull out of our inventory. Now, note we don't have any in our inventory, but we do have it there, and now he's going to toss it in there. So now we're going to start building up and making matter balls. And all I have to do is just make sure not to fill up my inventory, and he will start pulling things out. A little bit of that. And he'll start doing that too. So my little helpful friend here, Wood Golem, do I have any name tags? I do. What shall I name you? How about your name is Murry? Hello, Murry. Murry. Thank you, Murry. Alright, so now I can just go ahead and dig out this next area without concern, because I think that's pretty good. So we could have used the remote IO block, but it ended up being that we couldn't, just because of things. And then we tried using the extra utilities pipes, which are really great, but they're just a little bit too abusive on the server. So Murry here is going to be doing the work for us. He's going to be tossing things in there and making matter balls for us, which we're a fair number of blocks away. Now let me see if I can dig out this space that I want. Alright folks, so the next thing I think we're going to do is, as discussed, automate this build. Now, to automate this build, we're going to need a little bit of, well, basically a little bit of useful stuff, including a bit more fun redstone. I mean, after the door, I feel like it's really been fun to mess with this new Automagi redstone, so we're definitely going to do some of that. To do that, though, what we're going to do is kind of follow in, I guess, the theme of this series so far has been about crystallization, and we are actually going to crystallize and render useful a specific piece of biology, namely this spider eye. So it turns out that if we just wait for this to heat up a little bit, there we go, and then toss in a little bit of lapis, a little bit of this, and then a little bit of that, we get a crystalline eye. The crystalline eye will be useful in conjunction with this remote comparator. So the plan here is really simple. We're going to get everything into a box. And every time that, like basically once that box is full, we're going to stop gathering things, but otherwise we're going to regularly gather all the flowers that we see. And we're going to use Botania and Thaumcraft to do this. Now, this remote comparator, super cool. Let me just scan this sucker, because I actually I haven't made one before, and I literally just made it. You always should remember to scan the things that you make so that you recover, and usually you gain research points. Like, see, I'm desperate for Ordo, got some Ordo. How about this crystalline eye? Should be pretty cool. Yeah, definitely worth scanning there. So, our plan here is reasonably straightforward. What we're going to do is set it up so that if we head down here, oh boy, Skelly. Skelly in my base. Skelly all over my base. Let's just grab a piece of dirt. Oh wait, that's going to get taken out by Murry. Sorry, Murry, I forgot. We'll go downstairs here. Ow. It's fine. I'm just doing work down here, guys. Let's just grab this piece of dirt here for now, because we'll need it just right over here. Right, and if we put this down, and we put down one of what's rapidly becoming one of my favorite things from Botania, a hopper hawk, and then we break this down, and this, right? Toss those up there for Murry. Murry, good work, Murry. Keep going. Now, anything that gets dropped here will get sucked into the hopper hawk, and there's plenty of power there. So, what we need to do now is figure out a way to reliably start gathering these things. Now, there's a block that we can actually use for this. Turns out it's actually a pretty useful block called the Drum of the Wild. The Drum of the Wild just takes a Horn of the Wild, which I showed you earlier, some leather, and some more living wood. Actually, a pretty inexpensive item all in all. So let's put this right here, right? Now, the Drum of the Wild can't be beaten by hand. Can't do anything with it by hand. That's fine, though. What we actually need to do is hit it with a burst of mana. Now, it doesn't accept mana. So what we actually need to do, and I'm going to take off my ring of magnetization because otherwise things are going to get messy really fast, is we're going to hop over here and we're going to put down a mana spreader. Specifically, we're going to put down a redstone mana spreader. Right? Now, we're going to bind that like this, beep, and like this. So now that redstone mana spreader is going to go ahead and get through there. Now, really simple thing that we can do is we can use one of these magical hourglasses from, again, Automagi, which is just basically an advanced timer. And let's just set up the build initially in a pretty straightforward way. So let's just dig a little bit in here, right? And let's just show you how this will work because it's pretty straightforward. Let's just toss this down, donk it with our wand, and let's make it go for 5 seconds. And right-click it to start it, and it's going to output a redstone pulse every 5 seconds. Beep. And that's going to shoot that. That's going to hit that, and it's going to break a whole bunch of these things, right? Not all of them. We're going to have to be a little bit more careful with it. But, yeah, you can see that already a ton of these things are getting picked up by the Hopperhawk. And the Hopperhawk is doing a pretty good job overall. Now, what's nice about the Hopperhawk, too, is that it has mana to draw on from this pool. So it's actually going to have, it's close enough, that it should be anyways, that it'll have a really superior range to the ones we've seen so far. And so, yeah, if we set this up, this is a magic timer, so we can actually set this to repeat loop, like so, right? And then if we go ahead and right-click it, what it's going to do is basically just every 5 seconds, boom, drop a whole bunch of these down. Now you can see not all of them go. That's fine. That's fine. And the Hopperhawk, takes care of the rest. And now we're just going to break them all. Now what's going to happen, let's just go ahead and stop this by breaking it. Or rather, let's dunk it with our wand, turn off the repeat. And that should be the end. It's fairly inexpensive, by the way, to shoot those bursts of mana. And you can see that already we've got quite a bit of stuff here. Hey, wand. Hey, I thought I told you to stop. Don't. Good. Anyways, so it's going to pull out the mana, and it's going to occasionally do that. So that's the timer we can use, and it's straightforward. So what we need to do then is basically we just want to keep this sucker always full of flowers. And as long as we get one of every type here, which it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We have 16. So basically we can get a full stack of everything. And once that's full up, then we want to stop. Now, a way to do that is to use the comparator. The comparator is a pretty cool block, but before we do that, let's just go ahead and break this. Right, pull that up. Now, what we'd actually like to do is set it up so that we, let's see, let's go back over here. Ooh, wow, look, a bunch of dense tin. We'd like to use an AND gate from Project Red. Not going to lie to you, not the easiest block to make, but pretty straightforward in its application. Basically, it demands that all three of its inputs be on before it will output a signal. So now, if we go ahead and put this down, right, and tell it to run, we don't need to run it every, let's just run it every 1 minute. If we hold down Control, or I'm sorry, is it right-click? Yeah, we go down. If we hold down Shift, we get rid of that. So let's have once every minute it's going to fire. Yeah, that should be plenty. And we'll put that on repeat loop. And we'll give it a spin just to start itself up. The magical hourglass will then do its business, and it will fire, but it's not going to work. And the reason it's not going to work is because we don't have the AND gate satisfied. So what we're going to do next is set down this remote comparator. Now, I think the direction it goes... Nope. It's got to be like this. It should face that way. Yeah. Now the remote comparator needs to be attuned. For the remote comparator to be attuned, we have to grab this crystalline eye, right, and shift right click. You can see, and now the crystalline eye is watching this chest, and it even shows you how far away it is, so that you know, like, the range, because you have about 20 blocks, so that's really, really useful. The crystalline eye is fantastic, and automagy, also fantastic. And then, now you can see it's actually outputting a signal. It won't have the signals that we want necessarily yet, because there's still one. Now, that's a nice part. We'll just wire that on with a redstone torch. But as you can see, as we fill this up, it'll go through there. Now, the only thing is that this is not quite what we want. What we really should do is set it up so that there needs to be at least, basically it needs to be a maximum signal for this to keep going. Oh wow, it actually split it up. So what we need is a little bit, one other piece of things. Let's run back up here, and we should have just enough red crystal to do this. We need is this it? No, we don't need amplified red crystal. We need the opposite of it. Diminished. Let's just look at red crystal. So yeah, or dim red crystal. So this is a sliver of entropy and 2 red crystal. Do we have enough red crystal? We do have enough. So let's grab an entropy shard, and we'll use our wand to break it down into slivers. This is another thing Automagy offers, and actually it gives you some cheaper recipes. Let's toss that back in, and then grab the red crystal. 1, 2, and then a little bit of this sauce in the middle, and just a tiny bit of V to work that out, and there we go. So now this red crystal allows us to basically not allow a signal through unless it has like a minimum strength. So basically it's like a comparator and a test line all in one. So let's go ahead and put that down there, and then we're going to take off our focus, just because we definitely don't want that on, and we're going to turn off this line and this line. So basically it's a pass through, and then we right click. And if we just keep right-clicking, if we just keep right-clicking, we can go all the way up, and then it will eventually wrap around. What we want to do is set the cap signal strength to 14. What we need is, it's not dim red crystal, it's dense red crystal. Dense red crystal is pretty easy to make. What we need to do is make a sliver of earth first. So, for that we just need an earth shard. Like so, and we just need a little bit of Perdito from our wand, and we can break that down. Boom. And then a little bit of red crystal, which we should have just enough left over to do this. See, we have exactly 2. So we toss one of these in there, a little bit of magic, and boom, dense red crystal. So basically what we're going to do is limit the power of the signal, or rather minimize it. So this comparator is going to be constantly putting things out. Let's go ahead and put that in there, right? Now, in order for it to go out, we want basically the chest to be full. So let's disable these lines, like so. And then we right-click in the middle. Minimum signal strength set all the way up to 15. So now it won't pass through, and you can see that it's not passing through, right? However, if we were to go over here and fill this sucker up, then it would. So basically, the only thing we're left to do really is not that signal, so that basically it'll keep running until we hit that point. And that's sort of exactly what we want. We want it to keep running, and then eventually when this comes on, that'll pull it off. So all I have to do is just go grab a redstone torch, and I'll knot that signal, and then I'll also grab a redstone torch to wire that. And then the timer here is basically just going to keep running forever and tries to fill up this chest. And then we'll upgrade this chest a few times so that we get a nice big supply of it. But once a minute, we'll gather more flowers, and we'll just keep gathering flowers forever. So let me just go ahead and pop that off. We'll break this really quick, break this really quick. That's exactly what we want. We just need to invert it. Let me go grab the redstone torches and do this part of the build and hot pin that on, and we'll be good. Alright, so as you can see, we've got a crystalline eye, we've got a dense with a minimum 15, we've got inversion, so this is on. Now all we have to do is restart the timer, and you know what, let's just to demonstrate it, let's go down, let's add 5 seconds, and then remove that. So this is basically going to click over and over again, right? And as you can see, this just keep running. Looks like it's not repeating. Let's make sure that it knows to repeat that. Yeah, now this is going to go forever. And as you can see, we're just going to fill things up super fast. But once the chest gets full, well then, this signal is going to be getting pretty close to max. So, how are we doing over here? We haven't really come close to full yet. It's going to take a while for that to happen. In the meantime, though, what we can do is just sort of be patient and wait, and probably change this timer duration. It really doesn't make sense to waste this much mana. So let's go ahead, add a minute, and then take the seconds back down. And now we're just patient and we wait. Basically, this should pretty much handle itself, and then we'll work on things like getting this imported back into our main system later. But for what matters for now is that we're just generating a ton of flowers. Whenever I need a new color, if I'm out of color, I can just run down here and grab these, and we'll get them imported into AE one way or another in a little bit. And I really like this remote comparator. I think it's really cool, so I'm pretty happy overall that the build works the way it does. We could maybe micronize it a little bit, but I mean, this is a pretty inexpensive build for what it does. None of these things are very expensive at all. In fact, I would say that with the exception of the research for the remote comparator, everything here is like super cheap. It's like rocks and a little bit of magic.